Welcome back, fight fans, to another video here on The Fight Game. Manny Pacquiao is a boxer who fights for the people and is therefore loved by the people. He's respectful, but in the ring, he's an absolute monster. A long career over which took place in 4 different decades has seen Manny Pacquiao compete in some absolutely exhilarating fights. With great power and speed along with extraordinary accomplishments, Pacquiao lays his claim to being called one of the greatest boxers of all time. He started in the Philippines with not a cent to his name. He fought to feed his family and rose through the ranks in the hardest way possible. To get where he is now from where he once was would more often than not be referred to as a folktale. But there is much truth to how Manny Pacquiao defied all odds in his life to become one of the world's most popular sporting icons. However, it's been an all too common occurrence where we praise a boxer based on nothing but hype and emotion. But Pacquiao does not fall into that spectrum because Manny Pacquiao, perhaps more than anyone else in recent boxing memory, has surpassed the thoughts and opinions of the masses. What once before seemed impossible, Pacquiao manifested. He is several orders of magnitude greater than any current fighter in the sport right now, and in ultimate essence, he has practically defied the most daunting of challenges. Those challenges, of course, coming in the form of boxing opponents. Welcome to this video here on The Fight Game, where we take a look at some historic moments of Manny Pacquiao's legendary career, where he defied his opponents and shocked the boxing world. I want to first start with his American debut. The reigning super bantamweight champion Lelo Ledwaba was due to defend his world title, but his opponent pulled out and was in need for a replacement. More often than not, replacements are ultimate underdogs. They're not expected to win, they're simply used as placeholders, so the show goes ahead. Pacquiao had never really fought in the States. He was rather unrecognized. No one really expected Pacquiao to put up much of a fight. Ledwaba was 29 and in his prime, while also on a 23-fight win streak. Pacquiao was 24 with no experience on such a large television show such as HBO. The fight started with Pacquiao in the black trunks and Ledwaba in the white. The first round saw Pacquiao gauge the distance with his jab, and we saw Pacquiao stutter step to dictate the pace right from the get-go. After a minute, Pacquiao set up a hard left with 2 jabs. Also, take notice of the position in which Pacquiao unleashes this left from. His lead foot is outside his opponent's, putting himself in an advantageous position to throw from. Pacquiao scored a lot of his shots when Ledwaba ducked his head down. It's a dangerous move against one of opposite stance because a low-aiming shot often lands clean, as the opponent quite literally ducks into the punch. With 30 seconds left, Pacquiao noticed blood drip from Ledwaba's nose. His killer instincts kicked into gear and he upped the pace, building on his momentum. Pacquiao was faster, but not just with his hands, but with his feet too. As round 1 came to a close, Pacquiao went back to the corner. I'm going to stop talking for a small bit to let you guys hear what advice Freddie Roach tells Pacquiao.
So the jab, hook, uppercut, okay? Jab, hook, up the middle. When you throw the hook, he's trying to go under the hook. Okay. Lift him up with the uppercut. You okay, son?
As you just heard, Roach advised Pacquiao to set up a big left uppercut with a jab and a hook. Now watch this.
Africa, here he gets off to an uncertain start against Pacquiao's hard punches in round 1, and here comes the Filipino fighter again. Boom!
That's brilliant coaching by Roach, and a brilliant execution by Pacquiao.
When you throw the hook, he's trying to go under the hook. Okay. Lift him up with the uppercut. You okay, son?
Shortly after, Pacquiao would nail Ledwaba with a straight left to drop him for the first time. Pacquiao was now looking absolutely relentless with his combinations, but soon Ledwaba would momentarily have his break when he landed 3 snapping jabs. But if you know Pacquiao, you know he loves a good fight. In just 2 rounds, Pacquiao had won the love of the fans and the crowd. Round 3 saw Pacquiao dominate, jabbing at times but then exploding with lightning combinations. Roach noticed Ledwaba flinching in response to Pacquiao's feints, so he instructed to feint before unleashing those big combinations.
Start using your feints and your head movement. Okay. Alright? Just like in the locker room, you hear me? Okay.
Here, Pacquiao feints a lead hook, then lets go of a straight 1-2, then feinted again before throwing a 5-punch combination. As time went by, it was pretty clear that the fans were witnessing something special. In round 5, Pacquiao floored Ledwaba again with a straight hard left. This was pretty much the end, and Pacquiao knew it. Ledwaba was defied. The fans were surprised and the world couldn't wait to see him again. I imagine Ledwaba to be very angry with his managers, who picked Pacquiao as a replacement. Next up, we've got Pacquiao versus Erik Morales 2, the rematch. But first, let's take a brief look back at their first fight. Pacquiao fought for the first time at 130 pounds, after beating Barrera at 126. The passionate support from the fans of Erik Morales and Manny Pacquiao was very much clear, and commentator Jim Lampley couldn't have put it better.
The scene here in the arena, as raucous, as wild, as loud, as festive as we've ever seen anywhere before a big fight.
The first round saw Pacquiao land a fast and clean flurry of punches, only to be returned with an even more sinister attack from Morales. Pacquiao and Morales are both alike in the sense of having that pure killer instinct in the ring. The rest of the first round saw them exchange punches in seesaw action. However, as the fight went on, Morales found the formula for success with disciplined boxing. Waiting for Pacquiao to attack recklessly, then to capitalize on mistakes made in doing so. But at times, Pacquiao's relentlessness is just too much, and Morales gets overwhelmed. Pacquiao was the aggressor, but Morales decided that the best way to beat Pacquiao was by counterpunching and controlling with the jab. As the first few rounds went by, Morales' disciplined boxing paid off as it broke Pacquiao down. He had his pockets of fast combinations when Pacquiao got tired, and shortly after, Pacquiao had a very bad cut over his eye. Round 5 saw Morales pick up the pace, imposing his will on a very wounded Pacquiao. This was a real tough fight. If you're a fan of Manny Pacquiao, it's likely a hard fight to watch. Pacquiao, like the true fighting warrior that he is, didn't fold. Through fatigue, he fought back valiantly. In round 12, we saw both fighters fight real hard, giving everything they had. What an incredible fight that was. Unfortunately, although both fighters had their spots and the fight was close, Pacquiao lost in a decision victory for Erik Morales. So now let's fast forward to the rematch. The second fight was as much as a spectacle as the first. Roach, however, had a different game plan for Pacquiao this time around. Pacquiao this time around decided to move his head instead of being stationary in the upper body like he was in the first fight, and opted for a more traditional style while also retaining that effective relentlessness during combinations. Because of his constant head movement, Morales found it difficult to time Pacquiao's attack, and Pacquiao timed a straight left in the midst of his head movement to land clean. Knowing that it was effective, Pacquiao did it again moments later, landing clean again. Morales then let go of a fast combination, with both fighters now returning back to how they fought the first fight, with recklessness exchanges. Morales got Pacquiao to the ropes with much similarity to the first round of their first fight. Pacquiao, realizing his mistake, went back to boxing clean. Pacquiao landed another great left after a slip. As Morales had been accustomed to Pacquiao's side-to-side slipping, he wasn't expecting the straight left hook that took the place of a right slip. Pacquiao saw Morales back up and unleashed a combination. Then both traded back and forth. A massive left hand which blew Morales back saw both of them go toe-to-toe again, much like their first meeting. The course of the fight saw both of them fight closely, but Pacquiao with a little more of an edge than the first fight. And then in round 10, Pacquiao landed a massive right hook, then followed that up with another left hook to drop Morales. Then spectacularly, Pacquiao finished off the fight with Morales incapable of continuing. Pacquiao had done it. He defied Erik Morales and avenged his loss, collecting a brilliant victory for himself and his people. Next up, we've got the fight billed as the dream match, the fight for the ages, Manny Pacquiao versus Oscar De La Hoya. Larry Merchant, an HBO analyst, had a bizarre idea for De La Hoya, who at the time fought at 154 pounds, and Pacquiao, who fought at 135 pounds, to meet in the middle for a mega fight. For modern comparison, that would be the same as Gervonta Davis fighting Jermall Charlo. The fantasy became a reality when the fight was announced for both of them to face one another, where Pacquiao would be moving up 2 weight divisions and De La Hoya would be moving down 1 weight division to meet at the welterweight limit of 147 pounds. This was a significant jump for Pacquiao, who was much smaller than the bigger De La Hoya. You could almost say it was David versus Goliath. At the weigh-in, Pacquiao weighed in at 142 pounds, showing that he didn't even have to make weight for the fight. Instead of gaining lots of mass, Pacquiao and his team felt that speed would be the route to victory against the bigger man. When both fighters came to the center of the ring, the size advantage for De La Hoya was quite apparent. The fight started with Pacquiao circling around his opponents looking for openings. This is how he would have to box a much larger and stronger opponent by utilizing his movement and speed advantage. Pacquiao quickly found an opening for a straight left, then a right hook. Pacquiao's superior fast footwork was key to winning this fight. Pacquiao would land and then quickly evade De La Hoya's responding counterattack. Here, Pacquiao lands a hard left hand, evades the punches and swaps the positions, then comes back in to land another hard left hand. As the first round went by, De La Hoya was already frustrated with the quickness of Pacquiao. As rounds went by, Pacquiao landed and De La Hoya did not, which can be very humiliating. The straight left hand while slipping the head on the outside was the key move here for Pacquiao in this fight. It worked like a charm. Manny Pacquiao defied Oscar De La Hoya and his size advantage with a good game plan and disciplined determination. Pacquiao was in and out, scoring his shots then getting out of the way. It got worse for De La Hoya as the fight continued. It became a pure destructive performance from Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. For Oscar, the will to fight had now become the will to survive. Battered and bruised, De La Hoya still came out, showing such great heart. Pacquiao won when De La Hoya's corner stopped the fight before the 9th round started. The decision was the right decision, as the fight had become a one-sided beatdown. Pacquiao sent De La Hoya into retirement. He would not fight again. The loss took some time for De La Hoya to recover from.
It actually took a very tough beating to get me out of the sport. I mean, he beat the hell out of me. I would actually have steaks ready, frozen steaks ready in my room to press them against my face and against my body.
When Pacquiao defeated Ricky Hatton by knockout and Miguel Cotto by decision, he became a 7-weight world champion. Surely many thought that he had finally reached his limit, but Team Pacquiao went far and beyond to extend that already incredible record to 8 weight divisions, when he took on Antonio Margarito at 154 pounds. Margarito was even bigger than De La Hoya, and many critics said that Pacquiao had now bitten off more than he could chew. That was, of course, until fight night. Pacquiao started the fight much like the De La Hoya fight, circling his opponent. Watch this sequence in round 1. Pacquiao invited Margarito to jab with his own jab. Pacquiao leans back just slightly to dodge the punch, making Margarito overextend, and then capitalizes on the opening with a hard lead hook. One of the keys to victory in this fight for Pacquiao was to bait Margarito into throwing and then to throw over Margarito's lazy punches with fast, snappy counters. Pacquiao needed a good high guard defense in this fight, and he did quite well in taking Margarito's much stronger punches. Speed was also key in this fight. Once again, Pacquiao's lightning-fast speed came to rescue in many exchanges, throwing 2 to 3 punches in the same time that Margarito throws 1. As the fight went on, we saw the greatness of Manny Pacquiao unfold by teeing off with sharp, fast combinations, then jumping out of danger much like the De La Hoya fight. In the 4th round, Pacquiao hurts Margarito badly with a body shot, then followed up with a barrage of punches. As the round went by, Margarito's eye got worse. Many asked for the fight to be stopped, but Margarito continued. We would later find out after the fight that Manny Pacquiao had actually fractured Margarito's eye. Towards the end of the fight, the swelling worsened around the eye, making Margarito practically blind in his right side. With such limited vision, Pacquiao continued to beat down Margarito relentlessly, which brought him to a unanimous decision victory to become the only 8-division world champion in boxing history. That record still stands to this day. Pacquiao had defied Margarito's gargantuan size. Pacquiao showed that he had the heart and skill of a strong champion. He also showed that he's not only a good boxer, but a great boxer. And last but not least, we've got Pacquiao versus Thurman. At 40 years old, Manny Pacquiao took on one of the sport's strongest and most powerful welterweight champions by facing Keith Thurman. The fight, which was broadcasted by Fox Sports pay-per-view, saw Pacquiao take on a young gun of the sport. A lot of people thought Pacquiao was done, that he was too old and that it was dangerous for his health to be taking on such a high-level opponent like Keith Thurman. This was one of my favorite Manny Pacquiao fights, considering the trash talk from Thurman in the lead up to the fight.
It will be great to defeat him July 20th. I'm truly looking forward to it.
Pacquiao, of course, had little to say. He likes to leave his fists to do the talking.
Nobody will intimidate me.
Pacquiao in round 1 dropped Thurman, which was a stunning surprise wake-up call for the trash talker. The left hand to the body dropped Thurman's hands and directed all of Thurman's focus down below. Then Pacquiao came back up with a straight right to drop Thurman. Pacquiao, energized by the knockdown, continued the fight in true Manny Pacquiao fashion, with devastating speed. It's incredible that at 40 years old, Pacquiao was able to fight with such intensity and ferocity as he had done in his younger days. However, Thurman hits very hard and the fight was generally close, with Pacquiao winning most of the first half and Thurman winning most of the second half. Pacquiao, after the fight, had compared Thurman's power to Margarito's, saying it was thudding and hard to take. But the 40-year-old legend endured. He outfought and outboxed the younger man. In his prime, Manny Pacquiao was beating legends. Now he's a legend, he's beating people in their prime. The man is truly something else. Pacquiao landed a very hard left hook to the body in round 10, which saw Thurman run and even take out his gum shields to breathe. Pacquiao won by decision in a close fight. He defied the youth and strength of Keith Thurman by breaking another record, by becoming the oldest welterweight champion in the history of boxing. That brings a close to this video. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, consider giving it a like as it helps us grow the channel. If you're a fan of Manny Pacquiao, what's your favorite thing about him? And if you want us to make more videos on Manny Pacquiao, let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video here on The Fight Game.